Hey, what's up, everybody? Shades. Apparently I got pink eyes, so I'm here to get my medication. But I want to put something out that I put into the Discord. Okay, as far as like what I'm watching for the week and for the month. So as we know, we're all looking. Well, I'm looking into Walmart, right? I ended up hopping into a play like last minute. Before market closed, after we got that pullback, just to play earnings and have some skin in the game. Now, if Walmart beats estimates, right, but they fail to um, take off, like, if they just tank after the earnings, even if they beat it, then I do suspect a bounce, and then for us to see new highs. Now, if Walmart beats estimates but also has great guidance and reveals Walmart Plus numbers, then we should see a rocket to like the 185.56 or 187.42 range is what I'm predicting. Okay. Stock number two that I'm looking at is AMC. AMC, I was an ape. I sold out a while ago and took some profits. I know a lot of people are still in, but earnings is February 28th, okay? And prior to this, I'm calling myself a born-again ape because I think that they made some great moves in order to kind of position themselves to be, I guess, back relevant. They're still not a great company from a fundamental side of things. So that's like one of the main things is kind of keeping it suppressed. But based on my technical analysis, we're pretty much at the bottom. If it falls below, like, I think it's like 368 is like the low or whatever. If it falls below that, then whoa, right? That's where my stop loss is going to be. But right now we're pretty close to the bottom, and I think there's only up from here. Nonetheless, with Q4, this would be their Q4 earnings, right? And I'm thinking that the theaters have done a decent recovery, and they had good ticket sales for things like Avatar 2. Things of that nature as of recently. I know they made some position to reduce their overall debt, so they're still trying to tackle that. But overall, like I said, the fundamentals of AMC is still considered overvalued. So, but I think if we get enough bullish news out of the earnings, but also what Adam Aaron has to say come the 28th, then I can't see the stock going back up to about $10 with the buy momentum being primarily from like the meme stock community or the apes, as you say, just loading the boat. So that's a high risk play all day for sure, but I'm looking into it nonetheless. I like the price of where AMC is. It's the original price I picked up during like the pandemic. I ended up selling out around $8, and then the whole ape thing came up like after that, and I kind of had a higher average at that point. So now we're back into a comfortable level, in my opinion, where I'm willing to buy AMC and hold for the long term. Okay. The other stock was TSM. I was chatting with the Discord community, and we noticed that the market itself is been hitting all-time highs consistently, right? Like, we've been on the absolute rocket overall, but Apple has not been able to get over the $200 range. So I know they have some issues with China and some other things that's going on, but ultimately we all know that Apple's a great company, and they just came out with a new like Visionware or whatever, but for some reason it's kind of stagnant. And right now I'm seeing a double top on Apple, and they very well could fall back down to 140s, but I'm not sure. So Apple used to be seen as like the gauge as far as where the market is going or the strength of the market, and right now that's not the case. The case is that that torch seems to have been passed down to the semiconductors, like the NVIDIAs, the AMDs, and now what I'm referring to right now is TSM. I'm looking at TSM specifically because TSM, they, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that my homework is accurate, but correct me if I'm wrong, but TSM are the chip makers for Apple, okay? They had a solid earnings. They were around 114, and they rocketed all the way up to about 136 post earnings, okay? So they are pretty strong. Semiconductor company. It's the Taiwan semiconductor company, but I'm looking at them because of they are the producers of the chip. So instead of just looking at the company Apple, I'm looking at, well, who's the engine, right? Who is the producer that's giving Apple, like Apple products, its power essentially, right? So anyway, that's what I'm looking at. Right now, I did notice that there is an increase in volume on the call option of March 15th, $135 strike. You'll notice that the open interest on that is about 10,000. And then there is a volume of over 4,000 or 5,000 right now. So those are pretty good numbers, and that gives you a little bit more confidence going into or buying a contract, that's what I look for when I'm buying a contract. How is the open interest and how is the volume? You don't want low open interest or low volume, because if you get into it, it's going to be really hard to get out of it. So you want some liquidity and some volume in that contract, so you can get in, get up, and get out with ease. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm doing more TA on TSM, but I do think that that there will be a good buying opportunity, not only as like a long-term stock hold, but also a potential options play as well. I'm not sure if it's done moving towards the upside, but a pullback definitely seems like it's necessary after the earnings that just released on January 18th. So also last stock that I'm looking at, and you guys already know that I'm a SOFI bull, whatever you want to call me, but I've been a SOFI for a long time. But ultimately, if I see another pullback below $8, I am likely to go just as hard as I did leading into the Q1 earnings, where I had turned essentially $5,000 into $10,000. I made more than $10,000 essentially, because if that was the $10,000 was in one brokerage account, so I did actually make a little bit more than that in the 401k play account, and then my Webull trading account and some other things. So ultimately, we were winning in SoFi across the board. Let's see here. So again, like I said, anything below $8, I'm likely to go in pretty heavy. Q1 earnings for SoFi is in April, and right now, like I've calculated that. Let me back that up. So Q1 earnings is in April, and I think analysts or the shorts are thinking that SoFi won't be able to repeat another quarter of profitability. I think they're wrong. I think that SoFi shows a second quarter of profitability and a strong member growth, especially with their partnership with the NBA. All right, so they have NBA, they have soccer, they have NFL. They are just going bananas right now, right? So, and they are truly becoming a household name, and I think that they're probably going to have one of their strongest quarters in Q2, in my opinion. I'm sorry, Q1 of 2024, in my opinion. So, I was playing around, and I was like, man, what would it take for me to become like a SoFi millionaire, like just off of this stock alone? And the math is that I would need 867 contracts for me to become a SoFi millionaire, assuming that it can run up to about $15 to $20 a share before 2025 or 2026, whichever one I looked into. That equates to about $166,000 in contracts, and yeah, that's a lot of risk, and I'm not going to do that, right? So, but that's not to say that I'm not going to go hard on SoFi. So, I'm still looking into what it will take for me to like come up like major on SoFi. Stay tuned for that, but I'm going to do me, and you can do you, but it is what it is. I essentially plan on using my prop firm money, those earnings, and applying that towards long SoFi positions, because I own a lot of shares, and I think right now I just want to load up on contracts, especially if it stays around this range, or if it falls below $8. Okay, so outside of that, like just as a comparison for SoFi, I just feel like the move is going to be very similar to Palantir, where Palantir was sitting around $6, and then one earning happened, and then next thing you know, it's $20-$30 a share, and it feels like it was practically overnight. So That's how I'm looking at these guys right now. We'll see what the market gives us, of course, as always. But that's what I got. All right. Any questions, leave it in the comments. The easiest way to reach me is through Instagram, so make sure you look for me there. The only reason why I'm making videos on YouTube is because they're too long for Instagram. Otherwise, I try to keep things within 90 seconds and just move on. I'm not gonna edit this. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna post it, and it is what it is. Take care.